Hello, everyone, and welcome to Star Trek Amaterasu, a Star Trek Adventures second edition game using the rules by Motivious Entertainment. My name is ELH, the Game Master, and if you're just joining us, we were just debating the merits or lack thereof of Section 31, the movie, which I will be apparently be
Demerits.
reviewing, not reviewing, I'll be reading reviews of the next time I do a Just Chatting stream, so look forward to that. But anyway, my name is ELH, the Game Master, and joining me are three lovely individuals who will meet right away because we ended on a two-parter. So, Matthew, who are you playing and anything you want to shout out?
Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew, and I play the Cardassian Dr. Armin Matan. I have nothing to shout out, but our conversation also included a reflection on The Better Man, which is a biopic about Robbie Williams, played by a CGI monkey. So check it out. Not seriously,
Don't.
but just
I mean,
investigate
I
because
think it-
mind-bending,
Yeah,
incomprehensible.
I mean, I don't think it's played by a CGI monkey. I think it's played by Robbie Williams as a CGI monkey.
Is there a
Well,
difference?
Well,
Six of one, half a dozen of the other.
yeah.
Anyway, Techno, what do you got going on?
Incomprehensible confusion about Section 31 and the design language that they're using for their starships, which do not look like anything out of Star Trek, and I do not mean that in a good way. Otherwise, hello, I'm Techno. I am playing the Betazoid Intelligence Officer Jeanette Cato, also a Lieutenant Commander. And yeah, my current mood is just bafflement.
Good mood.
Thank you.
And then Bean.
Hello, I'm Bean_Goblin VT. I am currently doing a World War II's theme month, or however long it carries on, playing computer games since, it's 80 years after the war. But besides that, I am just contemplating life and how the movie TV industry is in the state that it is.
Who you playing?
Hmm.
Who you playing?
Oh, I'm playing Igus, the ship AI, and I definitely wouldn't forget about that because, I'm a computer or something.
A ship AI with Alzheimer's.
Oh no.
Anyway, before I get any bad ideas, let's go ahead and run that intro video.
I'm just saying no.
We're still debating Section 31. We're fired up, and I blame chat for telling us that Section 31 could have been a musical. And we were debating whether that would have been better. Maybe.
It would have been something. It definitely would have been something.
Oh, Lord. Anyways, usually I have the players do an opening log, but we're doing a little bit of a hybrid this time where Cato's going to read a log, and then we're starting in media res. So, Cato, what you got?
Well, first of all, I just need to point out that Caspian has suggested that we do our next music episode as a musical. We have discussed that in the past. Don't watch this space. I don't think it's going to happen, but we have discussed that. Log. Let's do a log. IGES, please begin an intelligence mission log, supplemental. Encryption level is Mara Kappa Indigo 7725 Alpha. following an interesting cultural exchange with Lieutenant Commander Dr. Matan, the Amaterasu received a distress signal from me. Not from me, but from me. Me is, in this context, an exoform resembling a Terran jellyfish, or the Farpoint star jelly, as it's been dubbed. This creature, although perhaps a more accurate descriptor is person or entity, was suffering through the pain of an invasive species being within it, which had centuries before crashed into the interior of me. Me again being the entity in that sentence. Quite unexpectedly, asylum has been requested by me, by the space jelly. And during discussions on how we would grant asylum in this situation, it became quickly apparent that the Prime Directive almost certainly would have to apply in this situation, as the life forms inside of me, the star jelly, were barely at a fusion level of technological understanding. And while they may once have possessed faster than light technology, this is clearly no longer the case. And part of the problem also is a worsening political situation that appears to be occurring between the inhabitants regarding, in part, the fusion core, which is causing me a lot of pain. Using the ship's sensors, we discovered a planet that would likely be habitable for the life forms inside of the star jelly. And we are making preparations now to render the fusion core inoperative, but with the appearance of being active, and then wirelessly transmitting power from the Amaterasu. And this will allow me, the space jelly, to travel to warp and reach a nearby planet on which the life forms could be disembarked. So, an away mission is now being undertaken by Aegis, Lieutenant Commander Dr. Matan, and me, onto me, to help me by having me deactivate the fusion core that is stopping me from achieving warp. Me and the others are obviously under disguise protocols for this mission so as not to upset the inhabitants of me, which might result in me facing disciplinary action for the way the me situation has been handled by me. End log.
Love it. Well done at the end there. So where we actually begin is we see a sort of vibrant forest. And in the middle of this forest, there's a clearing that's roughly about the size of a football field, a soccer field, not like American football. I mean, like actual football. Hey, stop throwing threat at me. No. Well, I'm glad the threat redeem works. That's great. But we see the soccer field, we see the football field, and this clearing in the very middle of it is this fusion reactor that is just a 2-story building. It's kind of a cylinder, blinking lights on the outside. There's power lines that are running, between all the buildings. The buildings are all made out of wood. There are some that are made out of metal and are presumably more important because they were the structures made out of the ship that crash landed here. But as you sort of see the camera pan down into this forest, if you look up, you see the vibrant starscape outside. But we zoom in on the species within, and as was alluded to, the marooned, quote unquote, are similar to the Kowalkins, like Dr. Miglimo on lower decks, except they're more peacock-like and they have vestigial wings. But we zoom in on 3 individuals in particular as they sidle on up to the grand fusion reactor in the middle of the space. And I'm just going to go down the line. Matan. What do you look like?
So he is a really rather understated member of the species. It seems like he's tried to keep himself as prim and regimented as possible. And he has more or less this kind of maroon hued plumage that's kept short and trimmed, sort of, insofar as these species are capable, or the species is capable of it. Okay. And he still has a mustache somehow.
Okay, that may become a thing. Who knows? Kato, what do you got going on?
I think Kato has similarly done something that's not entirely that is quite understated, but not as entirely as Matan has. I think there are there's like shimmers of like purple and bluish hues in the plumage, certainly in whatever would pass for the tail feathers.
Mhm.
Other than that, just as close to the normal as possible for this species.
Okay. And then I guess what do you look like? Because you get to cheat because you're a hologram.
Yeah. So being different than the other two, she's gone for a female member of the species, and like peacocks, the females are not more dull in colors, so she's more of a brown, less feathers and that sort of thing. But she's also made herself look as much as like an engineer as possible, maybe a little bit of grime, what equates to dungarees in this thing with a authentic toolbox which has a hollow bottom, which has the equipment we have, including a rucksack with stuff that she has from the um, satellite system picked up on certain items that would be, you know, expected, a equivalent of a thermos flax lunchbox, more tools. But then disguised underneath that would be the larger bits of equipment that she couldn't fit into the toolbox.
Okay. Going
And
inconspicuous.
those two bits are physical, so the other members of the party can take them. But she's carrying them at the moment.
Got it. I have made a note. Awesome. So the three of you sort of walk up to the fusion generator. Again, it's kind of a cylinder with ridges on it. It has power lines running off of it in a sort of a star formation. And as you approach, there's just kind of a steady thrumming that you would expect from a warp core, but now it's kind of just a whum, if you will, kind of a whum, whum, whum sound from this fusion reactor. And because someone already spent threat, I'm going to say that Matan, people are looking at you weird. Like they're just every time you pass, like sometimes they stop and do a double take, or sometimes they just look at you a little bit and then they kind of quirk their head and go about their day. But people are looking at you for some reason.
Told you it would be the mustache.
Do you know how long it took me to grow that mustache? Cardassians have very sparse facial hair, except that one gull. We don't talk about him. But, you know, I couldn't just shave it off.
I mean, I don't know which gull you're talking about, but I will take your word for it.
You know,
but
he bore a striking resemblance to Gul Dukat. You wouldn't, be able to tell them apart.
Oh, with a mustache.
but with
Actually, more or less sideburns.
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 Yes. It was quite hideous.
And you're equating yourself to him because
Oh, no, I'm just saying that
Well, I mean,
he was the only other Cardassian who really could grow facial hair.
and you think the mustache is a more appealing look.
Well, it's all that I could grow. It's too sparse.
I think it's quite attractive, but you see, I'm under the thought pattern that you consider additional facial hair for Cardassian to be unkept, and then you have decided to grow some yourself.
No, not particularly.
I see. So what made the this particular unnamed gull so hideous, as you mentioned? Or was it
Well,
the
I mean, he
size?
looked like Gul Dukat, so that was sufficient reason to consider him
I
such.
see.
Yes.
So it's more of a his face.
Well, I mean, it sounds
Well,
more
that's
like a
him.
sort of cultural stigma now at this point. I get the impression from the I mean, I'm not saying I find him attractive, but I get the impression certainly um, from the Bajoran histories that he was considered quite attractive. Certainly, he. Well, I mean, let's not get into this because I know that he bed a lot of Bajoran women, and I don't necessarily believe all of that to be let's say above board.
Commander
But
Cato, you said something about cultural sensitivity, then said one of the most cultural insensitive sentences I've ever heard in my programming's existence.
yes, I mean that is exactly why I'd rather move away from this conversation in its entirety. Least of all for the fact that we are, shall we say, we shouldn't know what a Cardassian is, let alone any specific ones.
And I think one of the marooned actually stops at this point and walks right up to Matan, leans in uncomfortably close, and just sort of looks at your mustache.
I see that you've noticed my plumage.
I've never seen plumage like this before. What do you call it?
I haven't really come up with a name yet. That's an excellent question. I have to think about it.
Maybe you would like to give a suggestion, since we have been throwing words around like a Dacian to see to name it.
Mm-hmm.
Cardassian. I like it. That's what I'm going to call. I'm going to grow one of those.
I mean,
It's quite useful when you don't have particularly impressive plumage.
Yeah, sure. Plumage is lacking, but this plumage on your face, I like that.
is Cardassian the word we want to use for that? I mean, I feel like I was working towards just beak plumage.
That's a terrible name.
Literally
But
trying to just reduce the amount of cultural damage that we're causing here.
And the maroon stands up and says, "Everyone, I have an announcement. Look at this beautiful maroon's plumage on his face. Look at it. We are going to call this a Cardassian."
Oh, no.
Well,
Now everyone's going to be trying to keep up with the Cardassians, and everyone's going to have different types of. And this is why I told you the moustache was a bad idea.
Don't use that word. It's a Cardassian.
At this point, some of the other maroon are now coming up and trying to get a good look at the Cardassian, and just trying to get a feel for it.
Using the distraction, which apparently is a threat,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to maneuver around. And like, are we in the reactor room?
Well, that's the thing, is that right now you're outside the reactor. Again, it's kind of just, it's almost like if you ever played Frostpunk, it's like the central building that's kind of that big reactor in the middle. You could go inside it. It's really hot in there, but it's not guarded. It doesn't have like anybody watching people going in and out, if you get my meaning. It's just kind of there.
So I'm going to have a quick look around to see if there's like a procedure to going in there. Is it an airlock with protective gear, or is it just just a door?
It's just an archway.
Archway. Okay, so they're that confident with their technology, in other words.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to tap the side of the box with my knee, which activates the tricorder in the box, so I
Okay.
could make a scan of the immediate area.
Okay. Give me a reason engineering at a difficulty of 1.
Reason engineering, difficulty of 1. Can I have espionage as a focus since I am
Most
spying?
definitely.
Not mechanically, but conceptually and narratively, I'll be assisting with this by sort of like moving off to the side slightly and drawing the crowd with me as I begin to compound some sort of esoteric medical explanation as to how I've been able to reshape the kind of the plumage growth around my beak in order to create this Cardassian.
Cardassian
Why
with a
don't you
C.
assist with a presence and medicine here?
That's what I was thinking. My
I'm going to
power
spend
static
momentum,
presence.
not because I feel like we're going to fail. It's just because, I want to spend some momentum.
Okay. So you go down to 3 momentum. All right. Well,
We then
that's
go
already
back
4
up to a lot
successes, meaning you're
momentum.
capped on momentum.
Xenobiology.
Yeah, I'll give you xenobiology, sure. Okay, well, you're not only capped on momentum, you have 2 extra momentum you've got to spend or it goes away. So let me explain what you get, and then you can decide what to use that extra momentum for. So I guess as you scan, what you realize is that this fusion reactor is shockingly accessible to the public. There don't appear to be any safety guidelines. You literally could walk through the archway right up to the control panel and mess with it. There's no security systems, there's no cameras, nothing stopping anyone from doing anything they want to the fusion reactor, which might make you think, well, they must be very trusting people. But one thing you do note is that one of the metallic buildings nearby, one of the rare buildings with metal inlaid, is actually the religious building, the main quote unquote church, if you will. And they are, for lack of a better term, having another energy source inside of it. Now, based on this level of success, you can tell that it's not a fusion reaction inside. It's more like a Well, like a coal factory or like a coal mine, or what's the word? A coal power generator where they are burning the wood of the forest to create energy for this church, if you see where I'm going with that.
So, I'm going to make an advantage with the two overflow momentum first.
Okay.
And I want to basically hack into the computer system using the tricorder and our network access to create the advantage on the rotor. Basically, I'm the person that's meant to be doing the maintenance today.
Mhm.
And under the name of literally I, us. So I, us, instead of I
Okay.
guess.
So us pass. I'm going to
Um,
call it the IS pass and
yep.
add that to your list of traits.
So we have I, us, and me in
Yes.
play,
Yes.
is what I'm hearing. Mm.
So IS is also going to is also going to ask the question with the momentum. Is the coal factory in any way affecting me, as in the
Yes.
jellyfish?
Yes. In fact, you have the sense of mind to do an environmental scan. Probably the reason why me has been finally fed up is not only the fusion core, but the coal generators putting off a significant amount of smog. Oh,
Hey,
good.
I
The
get that
momentum
momentum back.
regenerator works as well. I'm actually going to refund that momentum because they are at cap at the moment. So I'm actually going to refund that one for you.
No, I took
If I
Unless,
may,
25.
as I
unless.
understood it, that was just a momentum spend to ask about the coal. So
No,
I
that's
brought us
free.
down to
I'll give that
5.
free.
Okay,
Oh,
then
So
we're
I'm
okay.
going to
capped.
refund that momentum for you, but good looking out,
If
Alex.
if I ask a question very quickly, do I get to use that momentum?
I've already refunded it, but go ahead.
Damn it, Rumble. Um, so, but the coal plant is not going to affect the warp core. It's not going to
Correct.
affect. Okay. So, does anybody else have any questions? Because it doesn't seem to have any security. Can I check if it has any form of security?
No, like I
It, it,
said, there are no security procedures. You literally can walk right up to the main control and do whatever you want to it.
is
Okay.
there security in the rest of the, or certainly visible to us, or within sensor range of the tricorder, people that might be considered to be security
No,
personnel?
and that's the thing that Kato is, Matan is espousing the values of a Cardassian. Kato, as you're looking around, you don't see any weaponry on people. Like, they're not even like carrying spears, they're not carrying like daggers, they're not carrying anything that could be used as a weapon. In fact, the only thing that would resemble a weapon is one of the priests coming out of the church. They have like a staff, but even then, it's just kind of just this big stick.
And they may have tools like axes and stuff, but those are like not in this immediate area, I'm guessing.
Correct. Yes, there are some people that are chopping wood, but they're not really like oh yeah, I got an axe kind of a thing.
Hmm. It's more of a tool than a
Maybe
means to hit
one. Maybe
something.
he's really likes his axe.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm going
But
to
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
yeah,
ask a question more than the xenobiology department.
hmm.
Having a quick look around, would these people be able to survive? Because they seem hyper unaggressive. Would they be able to survive in a normal ecosystem with predators in it?
That I will say you can spend the momentum for.
Yeah.
And the answer to that is maybe. And I say maybe because as the crowd continues to grow around Matan, you're starting to get the sense that these are a very trusting and innocent species. And they are not really meant, or not really, how do I want to say this? They are not really conflict based, if that makes any sense,
Hmm.
where they are conflict adverse almost to a startling degree.
In fact, this discussion about how to use the fusion reaction is probably the only thing that they're loudly declaring about.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I'll get into my, well, whatever quits for a uniform for this place and start to get to work installing devices
Okay.
because I would want to have a discussion with the crew about the implications of us moving them into a potential dangerous. What would be not so dangerous for another species, especially one with this technology, but one that would be moved into a regular inhabitation area.
Okay. Well, while you're working, we'll do your role in a moment. I want to go to Kato. So, Kato, what are you doing while Aegis is working and Matan is talking about Cardassians?
Well, I was trying to limit the amount of damage that Matan might be doing by talking about Cardassians openly.
An open discussion about the Cardassians.
Yes. But I fear that a crowd has sort of formed around him now, and I've been sort of pushed to the sidelines a little bit. So I think that Kato is now sort of maybe just sort of looking around, maybe employing some of the just sort of looking around at some of the like cultural signposts that might be about. I think I'd rather like to investigate the church if given an opportunity.
Okay.
In fact, that might be possibly where he's sort of drifting towards now. Obviously, he hasn't got a tricorder out, but for all intents and purposes, that's what he if he had one, that's what he'd be doing. Is he'd be scanning everything, but instead he's just looking and just sort of keeping an eye on what might strike him as unique or interesting about this culture.
Okay. Important question. Is the Troy channel on?
Yes, I think so. In fact, part of what has been going on is keeping an ear out, so to speak, for like aggression or anything that might suggest that they've been identified or that there's suspicion on them.
Well, I have good news and I have bad news.
But also there's sort of a low level connection to me as well, just so that if we need to talk to me, then we can.
Okay. Talk to you. Okay. Got it.
No, me, not me.
Yeah, I got you. You.
Yeah.
Who's on first?
No. IOS is on first and me is on second.
I don't know who's on third, right?
Who?
Exactly. He's on first.
Yes.
Anyways, I have good news and I have bad news. What do you want first?
Let's take the bad news.
Bad news. You are detecting some agitation coming from the church.
When you say agitation, is it directed towards anyone or anything?
Yes, it is directed to the person talking about Cardassians.
Yeah, so you see, when you rearrange the plumulaceous microstructures within the fibrous barbs of the ragus, you can actually achieve this effect, the Cardassian. It's careful husbandry is required, but and we sort of cut back, I guess, to Cato.
And in fact, Cato, as you're like next to the church and you're feeling this agitation, out steps High Priest Voloff himself. Now, as a reminder, Voloff is a purple and green marooned. And since, again, they are based on peacocks, he has resplendent plumage. And it is poofed out right now. And he is just kind of gripping his staff going, "What is this nonsense? We are supposed to be in meditation for the next hour. Why are people not in my church?"
I think Cato would take the opportunity to step up and go, it's obviously such a pleasure to be in your presence.
I've never seen you before. Who are you?
No, I'm from the far side of the city, and I am.
I know everyone in this city.
Well, I am we.
You are we.
I am we. And while you may know, well, certainly everyone knows you, of course, your high plumageness. But the reason that we're not in meditation, as you have suggested, is something of a. Can you forgive me? Are you able to explain any of the significance of this carving here? It seems very distinct from the others, and I would certainly appreciate your insight on the religious significance of it and what I should be meditating on when I look at it. And it's a real try to divert that conversation in a different direction.
No, I got you. Presence command. I think because it is a very small population, and this guy is a religious leader. I am going to set the difficulty at a 4 here.
Can I put cultural studies in as my, or infiltration in as my,
As
or
your
even
focus?
diplomacy as my focus? Any of those I think would work.
Yeah.
I get the feeling that you pass, this guy just thinks you're an idiot.
With that, it's also not entirely far from the truth.
Oh,
Let me see. So,
Well, as a
4, you
reminder, you
said.
do have cautious command, so as long as you buy at least 1 die with momentum, you do get to re-roll.
Yeah, and I think I will definitely be using 3 of our momentum to buy 2 dice, if everyone's happy with that. Using a focus, as we said, I'm not sure any of my values apply, so I'm not going to go for what's name? I'm not going to use that. Yes, thank you. Okay, so I'll be rolling 4 dice, got a focus, got a re-roll. I think let's just see what happens. Yay!
Well, you do pass, but you want to re-roll that 20, I presume.
I certainly do. And I can re-roll just that one, can't I?
Yep, just the 1.
Cool. Let's see what happens when I do that.
Don't roll another 20. No, you make it.
Oh,
all right, so you
I'll
go
take
back
it.
up to momentum 3. So the high priest narrows his eyes, gets in again uncomfortably close, and goes, I've never seen you before. You must be new. When did you spawn?
Oh, very recently. Yes, I certainly within very recently. I don't know. I have no idea what would be considered like a proper spawning time for this
No,
race, or if they
the
hatch or anything like that. Like, yes, you know, I'm very new, and as such, my understanding of scripture is lacking in many ways.
Well, you must be from V's clutch. She had a bunch of eggs just a month ago.
grow that quickly? Damn. Damn.
Yes. And I'm
Well,
not.
that explains why you are such uncultured. V has never taken to my teachings. I will correct this. You come with me. And he like grabs you by the shoulder and starts trying to take you into the church.
Yeah, and while being sort of dragged off into the church, I'm going to try and get Matan's attention. Just be like,
Matan, it's your call if you even notice this.
No, I think he's quite gotten into depth in the description of the sort of morphological functions of these sort of different components of the feathers and plumage. So no, he would not notice this.
All right. So we'll return to
He's
Kato
lecturing.
in a moment because I do want to go to Matan. So Matan, like at this point, like little kids, and when I say little kids, they're not like human kids. Like they are almost like teenager size when I say kids, because as I just alluded to, they grow really quickly, these marooned. So the kids, quote unquote, kind of are looking at you. One has actually tried to touch your mustache and otherwise just try to get a feel for it. And he's like, man, that's really cool. Does it help you get a clutch? Like, have you noticed, any girls going for the Cardassian?
Not particularly. It's just a new experiment. We're seeing how it works out.
And he actually turns to his friend. I mean, Jew, what do you think about it? And Jew, who hasn't spoken to this point, J-U, I should say. Let me make that very clear. In fact, I'm going to rename her. Let's just rename her. Let's just rename her entirely. We'll call her Ki, K-I. Kai kind of looks at the mustache and she goes, I actually kind of like it. It's a very nice little range of plumage. And immediately the first guy goes, I'm glowing plumage, please. Whatever you got, potion, remedy, I'll what do you got? Just tell me step by step how I do this.
I tell you what, it's not exactly a potion or anything like that. It's just a careful husbandry of the plumage.
So what you're saying is I need to pluck out my plumage and implant it into my beak.
I think he's also saying you need a husband.
That's in no way have I said anything remotely akin to that statement.
You said careful husbandry.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm them.
No, I haven't introduced myself. I'm you, by the way.
Nice to meet you, you.
Likewise, then. No, husbandry doesn't mean husbandry, like with respect to mating.
I mean, it would be odd because you wouldn't get a clutch if you had a husband.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying if you wouldn't. I mean, and points to key. You're asking, you wouldn't give him a clutch if he's got a husband, obviously.
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I know that they has 2 husbands.
Well, true, yes.
Lucky bastard. Says one of them with past the background.
Well, I must admit that such complex and tangled issues are not exactly my forte.
A larger female maroon that cuts through the crowd, and I'd like you to imagine, like, literally like a bodybuilder, but obviously peacock alien kind of a thing. And she looms over you, Matan, and she looks down at you, kind of cocks her head to the sides, and says, "You, me, clutch, today."
So this is me. You may have met you, me, you.
Yes. Well,
it's an honored, honored and revered name, obviously, on me.
On what?
On the surface.
Well, I appreciate that. That's very enlightening, madam.
Thank you for appreciating me, says one of them.
By which I mean to say you, which is my name, which, although I don't refer to myself in the third person typically, but I'm somewhat intimidated at this juncture and thus rambling incoherently. I have to be going now, by which I mean to say you have to be going, which is me. So,
Matan, presence and con.
I'm not going anywhere.
Presence and con, because you are trying to maneuver your way out of the situation.
Okay.
Presence and con at a difficulty of 4 because it's funny.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I just pops her head off. I've never had such good distractions before. Well done, guys.
Aegis has finished the mission. She's back on the ship.
I'm going to suggest this, but Uniform Code of Justice, does that apply in this situation?
Please make him explain it.
Yeah, you got to explain this one.
So, the Uniform Code of Justice would cover interactions with pre-warp civilizations pursuant to the dictates of the Prime Directive, and accordingly, it might provide some guidance into avoiding situations that might be, associated with Captain Kirk. I'm sure there'll be a few provisions about not doing the things that Kirk has done over his career involving alien women in the Uniform Code of Justice.
In fact, I think it's called the Kirk Clause. I'll give it to you. Sure. Still difficulty 4, though.
Yeah. I'll spend 1 momentum to roll 3 dice with a focus.
Normally role players roll for seduction. You're rolling for anti-seduction.
Wasn't that actually in Voyager? Didn't they have to, or was it in? Yeah, no, wasn't Harry Kim supposed to get permission before having a relationship with an alien species?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
So actually,
so it is difficulty of 4, Matan, which means I can offer you a success with a complication.
What's the complication already thrown at chat?
I'm looking at talents and like. Regimented mind. Could I say that because we've learned a great deal about this culture by way of the satellite access advantage that was a plan that I implemented, my regimented mind comes into play, which lowers the difficulty of the task by 1?
I'll put it in chat so everybody can see it. Yeah, so it'll come down to difficulty 3, so that becomes a pure pass. And I think for that threat, I'm actually going to take the 2 threat for later. But, so what do you say to get rid of you? No, wait, you're you. This is
me.
No, I'm we.
I think this was me.
No, that's right. We's the smaller teenager one, and me is the larger Amazonian.
Because it's an honorable
name. Is this them?
No,
Yes.
them is someone else.
No, that's me.
So who are they?
You.
No, I'm we.
We
Wow,
play
this
Star
could go on
Trek here,
forever.
everybody. You know, at some point we play Star Trek.
And who's on first base?
I don't know.
Matan, apparently.
I think it's more that I say, you know what? I need to pray about this matter and seek guidance before I make any decisions. So I'm going to go into the chapel or church or cathedral or synagogue or whatever it is that you might call it, and just get back to you on that.
So the Amazonian says, "This is wise. I hope you consider my offer." And then she stumbles off, but as you start walking towards the church, Matan, the crowd follows you.
And then I pipes up. It's like, did she make me an offer?
I assume we're all just going to the same place and that you're not following me.
Well, we're
By which I mean
following
to
you.
say you.
No, we're following you.
So that actually works both ways. So quite well done. Why?
Because you are a new prophet.
I see.
Well,
Well,
He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy.
as a result, I need to enter into a period of seclusion in order to. I don't know how to finish that sentence, but I think it suffices. I have to enter into a period of seclusion. So if you'll excuse me,
We'll come with you.
I don't think you did. Do you have some other synonymous expression for seclusion that I could
Yeah,
use?
seclusion in the church, praying together.
All right. This will be interesting.
My goal apparently is just to break Matthew's will. That's today's episode in a nutshell. But as all of that's going on, I guess we finally come back to you. Nobody is paying attention to you in the fusion reactor. Not a single soul.
Yu's not in the fusion reactor. Yu's gone to the church.
Yeah.
No, I am,
IS, you're in the fusion reactor. Since the distractions have been so amazing, I'm going to lower the difficulty from a 5 to a 3. This is a daring engineering. I think you got this. Just don't roll complications.
Can I make it a control engineering? Because I have such a breadth of, nobody interrupting me.
I'll give it to you, sure.
Excellent. So it's target number 3?
Yep, target number 3.
I have espionage to
Would
hide
apply.
the devices. Yep. I'm going to spend a momentum.
Okay.
And let's just hope I don't mess this up.
You don't want to take 2 momentum and give him a threat for that? Roll 4 dice?
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
Okay.
Let me just look over my things. Nope. 3 successes. Thank you for the advice.
There you go. All right. So with 3 successes, if I understood the plan correctly, you are shutting off the fusion reactor, but at the same time activating a power transfer from the Yatagarasu so there's no interruption in the power, correct?
Yeah, so the transfer is probably going to go in and probably put the fusion onto a very low state, so it'll be able to be activated once again. So very much the lowest standby I can get it, so I don't disrupt them turning it back on when we get to the planet.
Okay. All right. So IS, you finish that. You take a look outside. You see Matan leading his flock into the church. You don't see Kato, but Kato's probably nearby.
I thought we were supposed to reduce cultural contamination. I would just say to myself.
Well, while you are debating what to do, Is, Kato, you're in the church, and the high priest is going, and on the 3rd day, we offer our thanks to me. Not me, I mean me, the entity we live in.
Yes, of course, and all praise to me.
Exactly.
Not me.
No, of course, me.
No, No, not you. To you.
No, I think you's the one walking in right now. And this is where
Oh, right.
Matan, you walking with your flock.
The fact he recognizes
Fuck.
you.
Yes.
Word travels fast. um, indeed, he is, and I wonder if I might um, uh, suggest that I converse with him in hopes of helping him to settle, because he is also quite new, forming part of a
Who is
recent.
he?
Hmm?
That is you. That is not he. He is someone
No,
else.
I haven't met he.
He, come over here. A green one
I
comes over. Hello, I am he.
Hello,
I'd
he.
like
I am we.
I'd like to say that the speaker used to have a normal name, and now everything's just.
No, we roll with it. This is what we call the yes and method of improv.
Um, Hello, he. What do you do here?
Well, I chop wood.
Of course. Why wouldn't you? Yes. That's good. Nice to meet you. He.
Nice to meet you too. Why
Mm.
don't you have plumage like the prophet does?
Are we calling him a prophet? Is that the right? I mean, um, I think it looks a bit odd, personally.
The crowd gasps.
Um,
Even the high priest is like, oh, you know not what you say.
well, that may be true, but have you considered that this Cardassian is it's an affront to me?
More
Excuse
gasps.
me?
No,
And
of
I
course we.
have I have threat. You've done this to yourselves.
I know.
I'm going to spend 6 threat to say that your flock, Matan, is now becoming an angry mob. People are grabbing you. People are trying to grab sticks of wood and light it on fire. Somebody's grabbing a pitchfork. They're like, we must burn the heretic. We must burn him and appease me. And then the Amazonian from before is like, I can't believe I thought of mating with him.
um,
Uh, a little help, please.
and it sort of spreads his arms.
Wings.
Good people. We must not. This is not the way, as I have been taught it by High Priest Valoth. This is not the way that we treat a member of our ostentation. Um, Stop this at once, lest you suffer me's wrath.
Yes, listen to the prophet. See? Is he sort of being carried off to be immolated?
Kato, give me a presence command at a difficulty of 2.
Presence command, difficulty of 2. Can I throw in diplomacy as my focus, please?
You can.
Lovely. I'm also. Where has my? We have none.
Yeah, you have no momentum at the moment.
Can I buy a dice with Fred then, please?
You certainly may.
Yes, I didn't think you'd say no to that. Here we go.
All right, 3 successes, meaning you get your momentum for your troubles. So, Kato, I said earlier, is the Troy channel on?
Mm-hmm.
So you say that, like, no, this is an affront to me. And me decides this is a very good time for there to be an earthquake. It's not a very big earthquake, but just a very, subtle rumbling of the ground.
I was wondering about that and triggering that on purpose, but sure, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. So you say, stop, do not burn the heretic, or something along those lines, and the ground shakes, and everybody goes, oh, he speaks of me. Even the high priestess says, "You spoke with me."
I did speak with you. You're correct. But I do not speak with or for me.
Me makes the ground shudder again.
God damn it, me.
Or perhaps I do. As it would appear that me is um, um, and he just sort of
affirming the message that you bring.
Yes, thank you. You. Exactly. I am not speaking for me. Me is simply agreeing with my interpretation of his will. And he's like, oh God, I'm making this so much worse, just internally. And he's on the Troy channel just sending, please stop shaking the ground or yourself. It's not helping.
And me says back drive. In his very low, sort of casual tone, he says, oh, my apologies. We're just experiencing a bit of subspace turbulence right now.
Are we at are we?
Yeah, you let me go to warp. We're currently at warp 3. We'll arrive at the planet in about 8 or 9 days.
Oh, and I presume I could look up out of the dome that is me and see that we're now at warp.
Yep.
Well, that thank. That's good to hear. I take it then that you are no longer in pain from the fusion reactor?
No, I actually feel quite good.
Okay, great. And I'm sorry if this sounds rude, but I'm going to ignore is a strong word, but I'm going to just sort of put this part of the communication line to the back of my mind for a minute because I have to deal with an emerging situation here.
Yes, they seem quite infatuated with you.
Is that the word we're using? Okay. Yes, well, let me just deal with this problem. I mean, in the real world, rather than on the Troy channel, I guess I've just been standing there completely mute for a second.
And I think the high priest says, look, he is communing with me.
Oh, no. I mean, no.
More subspace turbulence.
Well, you got me. I am communing with me. I am me's prophet, and he has asked me, the person, which is we. I am we, and I am speaking for me.
At this point, they're like they're filling the pews. They're like, some of them that can't get into a pew are like seated down. Some of them are like, it's the life of Brian. They're just finding places to sit at this point.
Yeah.
And they're like, tell us more. But first, and they all point at Matan, is the Cardassian holy?
That's a nuanced question with many possible and broad interpretations. It's certainly new, and I'm not saying that we should fear the new, because I don't want to us to stagnate as a people. What I'm saying is
He's saying we should try something new. The Cardassian is holy once more.
These people seem very fickle.
Yeah, I'm getting I'm not the Messiah, only the true Messiah would denounce his divinity. And a vibe here, like, well, what chance does that give me? No, what I'm saying is that we should continue to embrace traditional values and...
The Cardassian is heresy once more.
No. There is middle ground between these two extremes, I assure you.
The Cardassian is acceptable.
Yes, fine. The Cardassian is acceptable.
I'm so gratified. Thank you. I appreciate your approval of the Cardassian.
Yes, I very much approve of the Cardassian.
At this point, Ias, you walk into the back of the church and you just see this entire thing unfolding.
Record for the disciplinary later. I don't know what else I could do. What else could I do?
Um, so, as the prophet of me, as apparently we have decided to call me,
You are we.
I am we. You are correct. I must prepare you for.
You must prepare the Cardassian?
No, let me finish my sentences, please. I must
Silence,
prepare.
the prophet is speaking.
I must prepare. Must avoid pronouns. Must avoid pronouns. I must prepare each of this group, everyone, for the coming days, whereupon we, all of us, all of everyone shall step forth onto a new land that will be bountiful and good.
You mean to say that we will leave me behind?
Me has spoken.
Subspace turbulence.
He believes that we he believes that the marooned. There we go. I've got it. Me believes the marooned have been under his guidance for sufficient time.
I think you wanted to use the subject pronoun there, not the object pronoun. I, not me.
I am going to slowly inch over to Matan and like pull Matan out of the church, mainly so that the natives don't turn around and try to burn him again.
That would be good, thank you.
Yeah.
Me implores us,
move him.
not you, us, all of every. Me implores the marooned to observe the skies and see his traversal amongst the stars as he leads us to this new land. Not you, us, all of every the marooned to this new land. And just us just looks continuously disappointed whenever his name is mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And
I do, because I'm IS.
space.
Break the techno, break the techno, break the techno.
To help Techno out.
I'm just going to connect with me again and just go, how long did you say it would take us to get there?
About 8.5 days.
About 8.5 days. Okay, great. Is there any chance that you are capable of going faster that we can help with?
Yeah, I could go faster, but it would get really turbulent in there.
Right. Okay. How turbulent do you mean?
Like full-on earthquakes?
Okay. So let's not do that then. Okay.
Thunderstorms, end of days
Okay.
kind of a thing.
Let's not. No, that's bad. Okay. And he's addressing the crowd again. I believe, having communed with me, that the marooned should continue as they were and go about their daily lives as if myself and you had not interfered. But you must be prepared for the change that is to come.
They
Don't forget I and us. Don't forget I us.
I don't believe at this point that I us has been introduced to the congregation, and I would like to avoid that.
Friend of the prophets.
Oh, good.
You had to open your mouth, didn't you?
I don't believe
Well,
he's
I mean, you
capable
walked in
of doing
here and you started pulling out of the. Of course, they notice you. They're going to have questions about you.
No, they were quite focused on we. I was hoping to get you out from the immolation zone.
I think we're well past that now. It was a brief misunderstanding.
Yes, because we're now the friends of the prophet.
Getting a headache. Good people of me, return to your homes and prepare through silent meditation for the coming days. That is the word of me.
Presence command. Difficulty of
Flip.
4.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Silent meditation means abundant excitement in not leaving your side.
It certainly does.
You have a focus. Don't even worry about asking. You have a
no,
focus.
okay. Yeah.
You also have determination.
You do have
I do. I am looking at my determination and I'm wondering what I can do with it. I'm even wondering if I can do anything with telepathy, but I don't think I can.
Well, you could, quote unquote, speak to their minds, but I would raise the difficulty to a 5.
See, that's it. And I don't want to do that because also that seems like a bad idea. Okay, yeah, I think we're just going to have to see what happens. So presence and command. I've obviously got to focus. If
I would say buy at least 4 dice.
Yeah, and I'm looking to maybe do exactly that, but I'm also looking at my values. I see this as a form of social conflict. I would like to call on my value of conflict as a failure of diplomacy.
Okay. So I'm assuming you want the 2 free successes.
Yes, please.
I mean, if this fails, then they're probably going to revert back to burn the heretic. So you are avoiding conflict here.
That is my yes,
if our
exactly.
Summary horrifying execution was classified as conflict.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm also going to buy 1
It would be 1 momentum because they changed it in 2nd edition.
Yeah, so just the 1 dice, please. So yes, 3 dice, using focus, using my value, and here we go. That's not great.
That is 3 successes, which means I can offer you a success with a complication.
Aren't you buying 4 dice?
Wait, hang on.
Yeah, you failed to roll 1 die.
I'm sorry.
Well, no, because in 2nd edition, the determination die doesn't actually add a die. It just changes one of the die already in the pool to a 1.
Then I should have bought a 2nd one as well. Sorry, I forgot.
No, you're fine. If you want to buy one, go for it.
Can I fudge that? That seems...
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll buy... momentum and spread.
Yeah. So yeah, if we can do that, then please. I'll just re-roll that now.
Hey.
Okay, there you go. So you get the momentum right back. There you go.
Cool.
So, the flock, as it were, they talk amongst themselves, and the high priest says, "We have heard the will of the prophet. Return to our homes and contemplate for the days ahead." And they begin to start filing out. And soon it's just the 3 of you in the church alone.
We are going to have words when we get back to the ship. But I do not feel like...
I'm not the one who has set himself up as the messiah of a new religion to lead the people into a promised land. That's entirely on you, sir.
No, it was not.
That's not how my log will read, but we'll see how that works out.
Well, that will certainly make interesting reading, especially when I tell them of the my log will reflect the cultural contamination that will come from this entire civilization knowing of the Cardassian. And
I would like to mention the fact that we said Cardassian multiple times, so I was merely using as a camouflage for our actual language.
Yes, nobody knows what a Cardassian actually is.
I think the best course of action. Have you succeeded in planting the device in the fusion?
20 minutes ago. I was
wonderful. Good.
Finish your speech.
Yes, I assumed that was the case because we're at warp now. Me has gone to warp, so we will be at the planet in about 8 days.
May I make a suggestion?
Please, by all means.
We may wish to make some sort of lodging out on the outskirts of the civilization. The reason being is that the prophet has to be somewhere. And if you just disappear into nothing...
Suddenly you've ascended, yes.
But would it... I feel like it would be better if that were the case. rather than, for example, further cultural contamination through 8 days of contact with these people.
Oh, no, no, no. We don't have any contact whatsoever. Isn't that right? I guess.
Yes.
Well, then what would
Yes.
be the purpose of
The
having?
Well,
well,
they know where you are.
it's just that you are in a silent contemplation.
Exactly.
Well, that would mean going to tell them,
No, they would come to us, and we would turn them away.
or we could just not do this, and we could just
Fair
return to the
enough.
ship and not
Rather,
worry about
you
that
are the command.
whole. I,
Well,
You
we
are the
have to give them
commanding
some sort of
officer.
satisfying conclusion to this entire religious chicanery that you've invented.
I've invented.
Well, yes, really.
I've invented nothing. There were an
No, they seem
unfortunate.
to have actually invented it entirely out of whole cloth. But let's blame them. It's all their fault, of
I
course.
mean, they are incredibly contrary. Did you notice how quickly they flipped from one extreme to the other? What is with that?
I don't know if this is the most sagacious of species.
I feel like we should beam back to the ship
Let us move
and
outside the settlement before
monitor the
doing so.
situation. And if, yes, good idea. And if there is any further impact caused by our absence, we can address it.
I, I really,
Doctor,
I really must protest this course of action because you've seen how radical they are in their beliefs. If you disappear, there's going to be some sort of political and religious bifurcation of their society and a holy war breaking out over the reason for your disappearance. Half of them will believe that you have ascended because they've offended me in some way and they'll never reach the promised land unless they slaughter the other half. And the other half will believe that I don't know, they'll have to engage in some sort of ritual purification or something like that, whatever religious people believe in. See, this is why Cardassians were right about the Bajoran's religion. At least that was the one thing they got right.
hey,
I'm
Doctor,
sorry.
I feel like I should stop you at that point because
Just look at this.
I agree. We are on more or less the same
I
page,
believe we should
if
walk
not
and
at
talk.
the very least the same book.
We are still in the middle of the church.
Yes. I just please. Yes. Let's ambulate while we still can. In fact. And yes, I think the three of us should then start walking, if you have no objections, towards the tree line where we can hopefully safely beam out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we leave a message or something behind just to
Do you
avert
do
a holy war?
you do you know how to write in their script?
I
Aegis,
guess.
Do you know how
Yes,
to
I
write
do
in
know
their
how to
script?
write in their script.
Please, can you write in their script a note saying that the prophet has
Gone to
entered,
commune
gone
with
to
me,
commune with me,
by which we
for
mean the entity on which we live and not
correct,
himself.
not you.
Yes.
Yes. And then we, meaning myself and us collectively, can get out of here
The away team.
because, yes, Doctor, the
I
away
shall
team.
write a message stating that you have gone on a journey to speak to me
But
with
it doesn't matter
with,
what I'm doing.
with the companions, and that for you to continue to prepare yourselves for the journey ahead and
I
its
don't have to prepare
destination.
myself for the journey. I'm going back to the ship.
I shall write it with a little pronouns as much as possible, Commander Cato.
Thank you.
I will use
I
their
just
version of Urban Dictionary to chat GPT that message.
All right. Well, I guess since you're writing the message here, I think that's probably a daring, and it is daring this
Jeez.
time.
Jeez.
It is going to be a daring and a command, and the difficulty is a 3. And you know what? I've
Linguistics
got
is a
4 threat.
focus.
Let's make things interesting. Complication
No.
range 16 to
No.
20.
God forbid things were boring.
No. Okay. I'm going to use my focus of linguistics.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to I'm trying to think of one of my values, but I don't know if any values work in this situation.
I am the shield of the crew, maybe?
Yeah, I'm the shield of the crew with the justification I'm trying to shield us from more cultural contamination.
Okay.
You know. All right. So that would give me two.
2 free successes to start.
Three successes. I need two more. I am
One more,
going
because it's
to
difficulty of 3.
Can we
go
assist?
difficult with three.
Although I feel like between me and Matthew at this point, it's more of a hindrance than assistance. But
I'm going to buy two dice because my success rate's only a 9, even with the increased complication. I feel like, things could go wrong, but also, all right, don't
Let's see
blame
the
me
roll
if this
before we
goes.
talk about assisting.
Oh, great.
Well,
Oh, good.
I guess I have bad news. That is only 2 successes. Actually, no, that 5 should be a 2. So that is 3 successes. But there are 2 complications here.
I need rerolls. I need rerolls. So I'd have to challenge your focus to get a reroll.
Challenge of value, yeah.
Challenge value, yeah.
But I think it would be funny, wink, wink, if you just accepted the 2 complications.
Do it. Do it.
yes, what could possibly go more wrong than it already has?
Let me just mark down the value I use because we have to remember that.
Yeah.
So you
Oh,
write the
yes,
note,
yes.
but the note actually encourages the holy war because it commands it on the word of the prophet. Okay, good. Yes. Nice. He'll only return when the unpure have been cleansed.
So
Now I can imagine them trying to follow him on a pilgrimage throughout the entirety of me and dispersing themselves over the entirety of me's collective being.
So here's complication 1. Complication 1, somebody sees you beam away.
Okay.
Complication 2, when that same someone goes to pick up the note and reads it, it is the high priest. And the high priest says, "Oh, well, we can't have that, can we?" And then we cut ahead about 6 to 7 days where Me has finally arrived at the planet. He opens up and just sort of deposits the entire internal forest onto this planet. There are obviously major changes between Me's trees and the planet's trees, but apparently the flock, as I'm going to call them, the flock of Marooned are very receptive to the High Priest's musings, because the High Priest, over the last 6 to 7 days, has been talking about the teachings of you.
Isn't it we?
Yes.
Okay. He's
So-
basically his mouthpiece for we now rather than me, I'm guessing.
But do we
Yes.
mean we or do we mean you?
Yes.
Hmm.
Because at this point, every single, and I mean every single Marooned has either started growing a Cardassian or has taken plumage and like stuck it in their beak to make it look like a Cardassian.
Fake Cardassians, understandable.
I take it we're on the ship at this
You're
point.
on the ship, yes.
And we can observe this.
Mhm.
So not ideal. I think we can agree.
Aesthetically ideal, but not necessarily culturally, no.
Yes.
So at this time, you get a hail from the Amaterasu.
Contact from the Amaterasu, Captain. Would you like me to put it on?
No. But I fear that that's probably a bad decision in a long line of bad decisions that have occurred over the last few days. But please put it through, Igis.
Put them on
And
screen.
Commander Mara comes over and says, "So, see, you got me out of a sticky situation."
Did we? I wasn't aware we'd done anything to assist you, Commander. Not that we wouldn't, given the opportunity.
No, I mean, like, you apparently got rid of the aliens, because Me has been talking with us on the ship, and they've said what a tremendous well job you've been doing.
Yes. Well, that is certainly what we've been doing. Yes, sir.
So I am curious why they said that apparently all the aliens are now sporting mustaches. Do you have any explanation for that?
I think Kato just sort of looks towards Matan.
They're an incredibly impressionable species.
All right. Well, I mean, as
Just
long as
turns
you
back
didn't
towards the view
violate the
screen.
Prime Directive, I mean, as long as the Prime Directive didn't get violated, I think we're good here.
I mean,
Well,
the Prime Directive is so amorphous in many of its intricacies and
what
All
is
right,
the Prime
Hashirari.
Directive?
What did you do?
Uh,
I have sent over my report.
Mara picks up a data pad.
I'm just not
Oh,
helping.
you set yourself up as a prophet. Mm.
No, no, I need to make this abundantly clear that we did not set ourselves up as prophets. They almost shanghaied us, I believe is the term, into the position.
Mm.
Oh no, we're in trouble.
um, we did everything we could to downplay our involvement and our
and
Long-range
minimize the
sensors are
cultural
detecting they have
impact.
made an effigy of you.
of
To
you
worship
or of
or to burn?
I don't know. Do you want to change your view screen to picture-in-picture to look?
Have a
not
look.
really, but I just if you could pull that up, please.
And there certainly is fire, but they're not burning the statue. They're celebrating and having a grand old picnic next to the fusion reactor.
At
And
least it,
they're celebrating their prophet and the holy days that have come.
Well, at least no one seems to be killing each other, which could have been a potential
And that's
outcome
when the
of.
Panthers attack. Just one. It's just one Panther, but it sends all of the Maroons scattering and squawking and trying to run and deal with the Panther, but a Panther does attack.
I feel like the Amazonian one is going to, slay the panther.
Oh, most definitely. She grabs an axe and starts squaring off with the Panther, and they sort of do the Star Trek fight music, dun 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 dun, and just
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
In about a week's time, they'll probably develop some sort of religion around her because she's the new savior that has redeemed them in their promised land. So I don't
and
think we'll have
knowing them,
lasting cultural
then the
impact at all.
the feline that was there, probably some kind of demonic influence from the anti-me or something. Commander, I feel it's really worth pointing out just how incredibly impressionable these people are. I think there's a good chance they'll have forgotten about us in, say, by tomorrow.
I would like to
Well,
say that
yes.
one. Well,
Oh, you go ahead, I guess. I was simply just going to mark that looking at your report, apparently they have a very quick generational cycle.
This is also true, which I'm also somewhat confused by.
Well, it would
Okay,
explain why they went from being a warp civilization to pre-warp if they kept having such frequent generationals.
true, but I also feel like there should be more of a population on that on me than there was, given
space
how quickly
limitations.
and well, kind of my point. And I
So
did
I would
we
like to
did
say
we
that
did we ever establish what their diet is? Do you know what? I'm scrap that question from your minds. I don't want to know.
I would like to say that 80% of cultural contamination by Starfleet usually has a Starfleet Delta, which we have not done this time. So that is actually a vast improvement on all other cultural contaminations and violations of Prime Directive.
I mean, can we stop calling this a violation of the Prime Directive? Because I feel at the very least this was an infringement of the Prime Directive.
I think that's even too extreme. But
I mean, yeah, a dalliance with the concept of an infringement of the Prime Directive.
I have a note that the captain has scheduled an appointment for us after we have debriefed with the commander.
Oh, I wouldn't worry too much about that. She just, formality every time the Prime Directive comes up. You understand.
Um, yes, Commander. Yes, we do.
Which, by the way, that whole turkey thing you did earlier before the mission, the rest of the crew's actually been pitching in. We've had a lot of turkeys going around recently. So well done there. You started something.
That does seem to be the trend. Yes.
there's so many leftovers that get so dry.
Well,
More
I
can-
mean, we can just, dereplicate it and, make it better. So, you know. Plus,
I
we
mean,
have
that's fair.
masturbators. So, you know.
They masturbacers.
That's right.
Okay.
Sorry, I get the words
Yes.
confused.
It's quite all right. English is a terrible language,
Sure,
humans.
we have some of the former as well on board. I mean, I've seen.
Please do not talk about such things. I do not wish to think about it.
I mean, I
No,
imagine you're more exposed to a lot of that than we are.
cool, clean, antiseptic operation of an artificial intelligence, of course.
Yes, and a completely sexless crew, I'm sure, that definitely don't use the holodecks for anything other than.
I don't. I personally switch off my senses in holodecks, and that's.
I mean, I think that's
I don't
probably
needed
wise.
to.
Yes, I'm slightly more concerned about how susceptible apparently our own crew has become to a trend such as this, because it seems remarkably similar to what we've just been through on me.
They've been on you, Commander?
Some of it.
Oh, me, the jellyfish.
Is there an instance of you that's a jellyfish? Honestly, there's one that's a shark. I wouldn't put it past you.
I was talking about the entity, which is a jellyfish.
Oh, right. Yes, of course. In fact, we should probably check in and see how me is doing.
Oh, I'm doing fine.
Oh, hello. Great. Have we tied them into the main view?
Yeah,
screen?
there's like
Is this
4
now
windows
picture
open.
in
There's
picture in picture?
Yeah, there's just 3 pictures in pictures at this point.
And then there's just a picture of the crew enjoying turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Okay. I hope that we've been able to. I hope you're feeling better.
Oh, much better. Yes, I'm already regrowing my forest.
Wonderful. And how long will that take you to do?
Oh, probably a decade, but what's time to a being like myself?
But you'll be hale and healthy during that period, or will this cause you any concerns?
I'll probably have to find some kind of a space whale to feed on, but that's my problem.
Okay. Does I take it then that this means your request for asylum is now
rescinded.
Good. Wonderful. I'm very happy to hear that. I mean, I'm not happy to. Poor language skills on use here. I'm very sorry. I'm happy we could assist me.
Happy for the assistance. And then the view screen cuts out, so it's just the stars field outside.
Well,
I believe a degradation in your language system has happened over the past couple of days.
It's been a very stressful few days, to be quite honest with you. So, I don't know. Mark that down.
Move us into boarding with the mothership and getting our meeting with the captain over?
Oh, at this point, it's incredibly tempting to simply go pirate and fly through the new galaxy. But yes, no, please do that. That's probably a much better idea and use of our time.
I would have to detain you if you were to take that course of action.
Yes,
I would feel compelled to engage in a similar course of action. Yes, that
really okay. Well, that's good. Good to know we're all on. That was a test. I'm glad we're all on the same page.
I think you need a week off.
I probably do.
May
in
I
fact,
suggest not using holodeck 3?
I don't want to know, but I kind of want to know why.
No,
no.
Whenever somebody says something like that, don't.
No. I said I wanted to know. I was not asking for details.
And on that note, that's where we're going to end today's episode before we get too far into the weeds. Oh my God. So, no joke, I had a whole list of names, but then Techno jumped in and started making the joke in character. I'm like, this is better than anything I have planned. Forget these names. We're just gonna use pronouns. And then I'm sure, Matthew, since you're the English professor here, you were thoroughly enjoying all of that nonsense.
That was quite droll.
But well done all around. This is why I love this group, that we yes-and our way into our own situations. It's great.
I certainly didn't start the session thinking that we were going to be prophets of a new religion.
No, that just happened.
That's the entire Techno. Come on.
So
You have to aim higher.
you're right. We should have gone for godhood. Yeah.
All right. Well, Twitch, stick around because we're going to raid somebody, but YouTube, we'll see you later. Bye bye, YouTube.